Hello everyone, my name's Suzanne and I garden and grow cut flowers in Devon in the UK. Welcome along to my channel and a big thank you to all of those of you that have subscribed. This is video 3 of my little series of videos on cutting and arranging the flowers for my friend's wedding. I'd already edited and downloaded video 2 when I filmed this intro now, so I'll use this intro just to say thank you to all of you who have commented so far. It really is inspirational to me that know that there are people out there watching and that there are people out there who are enjoying watching the content, because obviously I don't want to be making content that nobody likes. So big thank you to you guys. This video is going to be about the table centres. I don't think there's anything more on the eggs. I think video 4 will be bridesmaids and bride, but it might not be. You have to watch it and see. At this point when I'm filming this, I haven't finished editing everything, but I think that's what it will be. So anyway, enjoy the video. Morning everyone. It's surprisingly chilly this morning actually. I don't know if it's because we've been having such hot weather, but as soon as it gets a little bit colder we really feel it. But anyway, that's good for arranging flowers, as long as I don't get too cold. We don't want the flowers to be too hot. So we're going to make the jam jar posies today. They're not actually going to go in jam jars on the tables, they're going to go in these jars. So we've got to do 10 of those. Now I'm not going to travel them in these jars and I'm not going to leave them in these jars, but I am going to have one of these jars out on the side just so that when I've made each posy I can put it in the jar and just check the proportions. They're not my favourite vases to use because they're narrow on the top and sort of fat at the bottom. So I'm not really looking forward to doing them, but anyway, we'll see how it goes. I'm going to travel them just in plain jars, which I've already got all laid out in a cardboard box with packing material in between. But yeah, in fact we'll keep this one out on the side now, so that, but nearer the back so I don't drop it. So I've got that there. What I need to do first though, I probably won't take you with me because I just need to do it quickly, is the grandmother of the bride would like some daisies because she's doing some decorations in the chapel. So I'm just going to go and cut those quickly so that I can put them out on the flower stand for her, because I don't suppose I'll hear her in here. Once we get going on this wedding stuff, we're going to be in our own little world. So I'll go and do that and then I'll come back and we'll make the table arrangements. 10 to make. These are actually really good this year. Often they have quite a lot of bug damage. I'm a little bit concerned and I don't have enough time to condition, because I've got a feeling, and I'm not 100% sure, but I've got a feeling these are going to go into the evil clear floral foam. But that's not anything to do with me, so I'm just going to put them in this jar, put them on the stand and hope they've got time to condition. So I'll go and do that. I'm just going to spend a few minutes being a bit boring. I'm not going to film the whole boring bit. What I'm going to do is go through the stems so they're properly prepared, because obviously I cut big branches of snowberry. Well, I'm not going to want big branches in these arrangements, so I'm just going to go through, I'm going to recut an angle and recut the slip, and also I'll take off any leaves that look a bit, you see, like we've got quite a few torn leaves and things on here, so in fact I'll take that whole top out. So foliage wise, each of these little table centres is going to have a brachioglottis, which originally I wasn't going to use because I like to use my brachioglottis in the autumn, but being that I've mentioned I've got very limited eucalyptus, and the bride, well the mother of the bride mainly, really loves that sort of sagey colour, so that's why I tried to incorporate something. I know it's not the same as eucalyptus, but actually the snowberry, I know the green's not quite right, but the leaf shape's very good. If you're somebody who likes eucalyptus, you know there are there are similarities there. I think I need 10 pieces. I didn't even count what I've done. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's only 6. Here's a good bit to cut up. And so anyway, so I'm going to go through and sort of prepare stems. I need to do the same with, the Greek cress needs all the leaves pulling off of it. So I'll do that in a minute as well. And I'll come back to you and show you when I've got everything I'm going to put in the table centre that's all prepared. So it is a bit of a faff. Let me just, we're doing a lot of recording today. Let me just do what I usually do. Let's get you the right height. Let's get my face started. Not that I know you want to see my face. Probably not at this time in the morning, but the Greek cress is a bit of a faff. You've got all these little leaves. I never know where I'm pointing. Oh, here. All these little leaves need to come off. They go yellow. Whereas the seed pods will stay that really nice sage green. So it's a real faff. You can't just, like with a lot of stems, just strip, because you would strip the seed pods off, which obviously you want. So I should have probably done this yesterday, or even I could have done this the day before. But I didn't have much time. Do you know what? I just realised you still can't prop you up there. I'm too tall, you see. I'm not actually that tall, but when I was at school, I was one of these poor children that was subjected to regular weigh-ins and measurings because, although I'm not tall as an adult, I was quite tall when I was a child. Now I'm above average. What's the average? 5'4" or 5'3"? Yeah, I'm taller than that. I don't want it to rain because I need to collect the fresh petal confetti today, which I want to do is a mix of colours. We'll do some rose petals, but I'd like to get some purple in there as well, and I thought we could do some cornflowers. So I really don't want it to rain. It sounds like it's raining. It's not. Anyway, we'll do that later. Anyway, enough of this. So because these jars have got fairly narrow openings, I want to use 25 stems, but having some quite thin stems like this Greek cress will be helpful. So I've actually just gone back to the bucket and found some thinner ones which are actually easier to take the leaves off as well because they're not so branchy. Right, just eating breakfast as I work. Luxury breakfast this morning, pain au chocolat, nice cup of tea. Okay, so I've laid out my ingredients for one posy. I'm only going to lay the ingredients out one posy at a time because I will probably forget and add too many stems. I've written on my chalkboard there how many stems of each thing that I'm laying out so I don't get confused. And then I'll make them, bunch them, and then they'll go back into the cool garage. I'm a bit concerned it's going to start getting quite hot in here soon. I may have to start working in the lobby bit here, which is just that little bit cooler. But we'll see how long I can work in here because it's where you get used to working. This is obviously where I usually work, and this work top that I've put the flowers on is at a better height for standing. I find if you start working from things that aren't designed for standing at, then it can give you back. And honestly, I have a little problem with my back. So right, anyway, we don't want to talk about that. So I'm using a lot of filler in these posies, and that is because these vases are quite wide, okay? So I don't want a really slim arrangement in here because it will look out of proportion. Now ideally, when you're putting flowers into a vase, you want them to be 1.5 times the height of the vase. Now, I can't really do that because these are to go on wedding tables. And if I did them 1.5 times the vase, so it's about 6. So you'd be talking about there, and then if you were sat at a table, you're not going to be able to see over the top. So I'm going to have to do just about 1 time the vase, more about there, which hopefully will look okay. But I'm deliberately doing a bit shorter than it should be. So that people can see each other and they're not blocked by flowers on the table. So I'm using a lot of filler because, as I say, it gives it that rounder shape. Oh, put that vase out of the way, otherwise we'll be one short. And I'm starting by putting some filler together. I'd never like to put Achillea the pearl next to a feverfew. I want them to be a little bit separated. So I'm not doing anything fancy at the moment. I'm just putting my fillers next to each other. That Ami's a bit short, really. Hopefully he'll get in the water. And then yeah, it's a shame that Ami's a bit. I think I need a bit of a longer bit of Ami actually. What about this bit here? Now, when I've done these flowers, I'm going to elastic band them, but that's only for the purpose of travelling and because they're going to be going into different vases than the final vase. When I get to the venue, I will cut the elastic bands and then that will give them a looser feeling again. So, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 stems, and I've tried to give it a nice full shape there. Still not happy with that animal, but I can't be too fussy today, otherwise I'll never get everything done. And then once I've got the main shape like that, then I can start adding in the colour. Now, all of these, I will just add my one of my foliage. I never add the brachydglottis at the beginning. I don't know why. But this is like a 2-pronged snowberry. So he's done both sides with 1 stem. Yeah, and then I'll start adding the flowers. And I will now try and work in more of a crisscross and spiral, but I didn't for those first stems. That was just getting the shape. I like to get the Cerinthe in fairly early in case it's going to be a floppy one. I think we will just lose these bottom. And I'm going to add things at all different heights. I don't want this to be a neat, like all rose posy. This is farmed flowers that are supposed to look rustic and as if they've just been picked from the garden. It's not all supposed to be one level, one height. And sometimes I do play with heights a little bit before I put the elastic band on. Sometimes I'll pull things up or push things down. I've been putting all my sweet peas on at the end on all of the flowers I've been doing, so I'm going to stick with that. So I put the sweet peas on at the end on the big churns, so I'm going to put the sweet peas in on the end on here. So I want them on the opposite side to that. And I'm also trying to look at how I'm working with colour, so that I'm not putting all the white in one place and I'm not putting all of the purple in one place. Oh look, I haven't got my two of my flowers. I said I'd laid it all out, and I'm missing my round flowers, which are a rose and a cosmos apricota. I thought it didn't look right. And because the cosmos is very delicate, I tend to thread the cosmos. I don't tend to put it on the edge because I worry about the stem breaking. So I just thread that in. I think everybody has their own way of doing these things, and I mean, I have in the past gone and done a few little floristry type courses, but honestly I didn't enjoy them as much as I thought I would, because the floristry was still very formal, and I know you have to, basically, if you want to get qualification, you do have to know how to do all of those things, even if you don't intend to do your flowers like that in the end. But so I didn't pursue any more courses. I did to be honest, I did the most boring bit. I did all the business modules, and I did do some practical stuff as well, but I have actually got the business module of the floristry course. So if I wanted to go and qualify to be a florist, I've already got the boring bit out the way, which would be quite handy. So I wouldn't have to do that. I think I'd be quite keen, because you can do it module by module, which is quite nice. And I think I would be quite keen to do the funeral. Although, again, I wouldn't like it if I had to, you know, this is going to sound awful, and I really don't want to offend anyone because it's personal taste. I wouldn't want to spend my time sticking chrysanthemums into foam letters. And that's just my taste. It's not to say there's anything wrong with that, but I just wouldn't enjoy that. I wouldn't get anything out of that. So the sweet peas were very short now, so I have taken a bit of extra stem length off the plant just to get them long enough for a posy. And I'm just looking at areas where I feel, I've just realised I'm missing two more. I was thinking this isn't very purple, and the reason it's not very purple is because my main purples, oh dear, this is a rookie mistake, I haven't even stripped these, are this clary sage, and this one is denim blue. I've grown them mixed before, but I find the white, it goes brown really quickly, and then I didn't really use it. So this year I thought I'd just grow one colour, and I will do a tour again soon, because do you remember I told you that last year my mixed scabious seed was all white, so I thought perhaps this year I'd have all the other colours. I haven't, it's all white. So it was a whole packet of white seed, which was sold as a mix. And you see, like here, this cornflower has been completely lost in there, so I'm going to take him out and move him. And I feel like we've got a bit, the Achillea is a bit heavy, and I'm just going to actually go in and just snip a little bit of the Achillea out. You can do that, by the way, with sedum. Sedum's a very good filler, but it's very heavy. You can just go in and snip some of the prongs out. And I mean, I don't like that whole bit of Annie there, so we'll do something about that. I probably overthink these things, but it's just, yeah. Just me, just the way I am. And I always say my videos are not how-to videos, they're how I do videos. But you don't have to go and do what I do. You can do things how you want. So you've got a big hole here. Needs colour, not white. I'm putting 5 sweet peas in because they smell nice, and I am tempted, very tempted, to add some mince to these at the end, just to give that lovely scent on the tables. So really, really tempted by that. Don't really want the salvia right next to the other salvia. Although you can do that with longer stems because it looks very natural. It's how they grow in the garden. It's not a great idea to put 2 of a round flower, like a cosmos, right next to each other because they can look like a pair of eyes. So if you're going to put, you wouldn't put 3s or 5s, but with a long stem like this, they don't end up looking like eyes, so you get away with it. What have I got left? A sweet pea. I put the cress in. I don't like the way the cress is right next to the delphinium there because they're both taller stems. So to give it more balance, the delphinium really needs to come on the other side. And because of that, I'll move that cosmos because we've now got the blue of the delphinium there. And then that means this cosmos can come in here where we're lacking a bit of the blue. And then I just got this little sweet pea, which can go in here. Okay, and now I'll look at it and I'll mess with the heights of it now. So I want my rose to come up a little bit. I could do my phlox going down a little bit. Down is harder than up. Oh, is that it? Oh, good guess. know your stems. So that was the phlox. That nigella can come up a bit. Salvia can come up a bit. Just move them. Now most people probably don't mess about around as much as I do. Right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut the stems and I'm going to sit it in the vase before I put the elastic band around it. And I just let it settle before I put the band on it and loosen everything up a bit. I have quite a heavy grip on my hand, so sometimes this is a good idea for me to do just to give the flowers a bit of a rest. There we are. Right, so I'm going to use elastic band. I know it's not extremely environmentally friendly, but I've just got so much to do today. I just don't think I've got time to be twining. And these stems will get cut again. That's just a very, so they're not all the same length. That's just a very, very quick cut. Right, so now I've got, sorry, fiddling again. Now I've got to make another 9 of those. I'm not gonna, I'll do those in time lapse and I'll show you them all to you when I finish. Leave it alone. I just popped to the garden because I wasn't happy with some of the roses I had left to finish these table decorations. So while I was there, I picked up a little snack. Oh, they're really good this year. Last year, the flavour wasn't good. These are good. So, anyway, that should keep me energised to get these table poses finished, and then I better put the kettle on before we start the bridesmaids' bouquets. Right, well, I've done 8 of the posies. I'm going to leave the last 2, only because they were a bit of an extra. So if I leave them to the end, they're not essential. So I'm going to move these flowers back to the cool and go and get the flowers for the bridesmaids' bouquets. I will just show you the table vases all together a minute. I'll flip you around. Okay, so there are the 8 that I've done, and by using the same flowers in each arrangement, even though they're not the same, obviously they look the same. There's the same theme. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching this week's video. The next video on this series is going to be the one that probably I think people will be most excited to see, which will be the bridesmaids and the bride. And although there is a little bit on the buttonholes, I'm afraid there's not as much on the buttonholes as I would have liked, mainly because I had technical issues, but you'll still certainly get to see the finished product there. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in that one.